Confirm. We apologize for the technical issues as we currently work ourselves in the early stages of today's action. It's the Touring Kart Championship as we're all set for the middle portion of the battle to see who is a part of the championship for. Just Pritz alongside Brandon Laster here at Maconi Entertainment. It's proud to bring you action from all types of racing, including the weekly Fast Friday series. No matter what you're racing, we can bring the action to life. Producing today is Jorge Canales, working controls for the first time on Maconi Entertainment. For those just jumping in here, including us with the technical issue, once again, we apologize for said issue. Alex Penn is currently in the race lead. The early going of this 63-lap event. It's 50% of the distance showcased in the real-world NASCAR Xfinity Series. The pole sitter was Jake Innes. It was by 1,000th of a second that qualifying lap. Right now, Innes second over Bryce Hamrick. Then it's Christian Leonard in the top four with Seven Hawthorne. That being said here, Brayton, the main thing to consider, the last driver in right now via points is Jake Innes by 26 points. Drivers like Devine, Colin Grace, Matt Haas, Christian Barker need wins if they want to advance.
That's not going to be any easy task, especially at Michigan, where it's not really a drafting track like a super speedway. You're going to have a lot of, not necessarily a lot, but a decent amount of off-throttle time getting through the corner. But managing your tires at intermediate with this speed, that's Xfinity cars is very tricky. We saw it at Auto Club, we saw it at Chicago. Then one mistake, one mishap, the Xfinity tires a little too much to get a little loosey-goosey, and your tires are shredded for the entire run. They have about 4 extra sets if you need them in the pits, but obviously you don't want to come down and put a new set on if you don't have to. Jake Innes, though, currently really playing the flute with that dirty air. Dirty air is a big topic in these NASCAR cars that track like this, especially the Xfinity car. Usually get tight, washed up, and kill your fronts. Innes, though, playing it beautifully.
How about on screen a little bit of slide job action? Seven Hawthorne and Brandon Devine getting a little bit chirpy. Both drivers going back and forth on the slide job, nearly turned each other across each other's noses.
And talking about that dirty air, that's how they have to make passes. This whole package kind of together in entire field for the most part. While Alex Penn, Jake Innes pulled away, Bryce Hamrick in third to Christian Barker only about a second and a half. There's one move down low. That's Colin Grace keeping it back up, trying to get back together, going straight. He's going to be able to recover. And he's going to really lose that lead pack, don't fall behind. He's one of the guys that needed a win. And so far, not a great start for Colin Grace in the 27 machine.
That was with contact with Zane Zaidai. So, that really is not going to help the 27 case right now in terms of the race positioning. Right now, looking to battle for 6th on screen still, though. We'll say you have other drivers that look to try and impress today. Matteo Giuliano amongst those. They're working their way across the racetrack. You also have Brendan Devine still in the pack. Jacob Meager did not have the grace of practice runs, to say the very least. There were a lot of drivers, a lot of burn-up race cars as there's one into the wall. That is Giuliano into the fence.
Yeah, a lot of guys getting tight. Only 8 laps in the run. Grace actually hit the wall again. Actually, I'm not like Christian Barker hit the wall again, and Grace had to make some evasive maneuvers and not slide into them. But as you have this big pack, this big train of dirty air, they're going to wash up more and more and more. Alex Pendo continuing to lead, and that's allowing this pack to close up, though. These guys are starting to work together and not be 3 wide going through the corner. You can definitely go 3 wide here at Michigan, but not the preferred line.
So as this battle goes on, let's take a look at what's going on up at the very front, because Alex Penn is playing a lot of defense because Ennis has reeled in the gap that had been about 4, 5, 6 plus car lengths. It's down to just a 10th, though. And one of the big things when it comes to the Grand National / Xfinity car, you can argue, draft impact at Michigan, pretty high down the straight. Dirty air, obviously, but especially when it comes to getting the run.
Yeah, JP, these 2 guys right here, Alex Penn, Jake Innes, have been the most winningest. Oh, look at that. Alex Penn in the wall getting tight, side by side for the lead. We'll come back to what I was saying in a second. Jake Innes are going to take advantage of that going into 3. One small slip up was all it took. That's going to allow Bryce Hamrick, though, and Christian Leonard make up some room. These 2 are side by side for 3rd. But Jake Innes, new leader, coming out of 4. still though, bumper to bumper.
That's allowing everybody else in the top 4 to close. Leonard and Hamrick both gained about half a second at least the past lap, despite being side by side right now. And all of a sudden, it's become a 4-car battle. Now, interesting enough, right before the race, apparently, Christian Leonard in the 19 went from his normal, Joe Gibbs Racing paint scheme to whatever that is. I am not sure what he chose this week, but that's a choice in terms of, it looks like Sharpie design.
I believe Leonard has been, it was either Leonard or Barker, as one of the Christians have been kind of in a goofy scheme for throughout some of the season for some races. I'm not sure which Christian it was, but one of them I know for the TKC 500 had Mateo's face on it because he was the race control for that race. But speaking of putting your face on the race, you got a lot of guys actually sending it us, and then moving to that second spot. Started outside of that front row. Made a little slip up in qualifying, talking to him for a split second. He thought he only needed 39.7 to take the pole, so he kind of took it easy, left a little bit on the table, and then he goes and sets his time. Here's Jake Ennis, who hadn't yet set a time, and stole the pole by 1/1000th of a second.
Oh, that's wild, by the way. Leonard able to jump up to the second spot. Leonard right now is by far the fastest car on the track, by the way. Despite making the pass a 10th quicker, now you also have groupings like this at the end of the straightaway, like Divine trying to battle right now still with Matt Haas. So a lot of battles starting to really form up here.
Gotta pick and choose your battles on a track like this.
Well, that battle just had a door check.
Now, I'm going to tell you, one battle you don't want to pick here is with the wall. You might be able to spin your competitors and move them out of the way. One thing that doesn't move, not here or anywhere else you could go to in any racing series, that would be the wall.
Meanwhile, the battle for second, Leonard trying the top. Now, after the oval refresh, Michigan became one of the tracks that actually had that multi-groove racing really pop up, noticed. And in turn, drivers like Leonard, in 3 and 4 especially, trying to get that work. Hamrick trying to make it work in 1 and 2 a bit, up from above that third seam. That being said, you got to be careful with those lines, you can argue.
Speaking of being careful, Penn is having a tough time kind of getting the wheels control under that thing. Under that thing, he's driving a car, under that car. He's been loose one corner, tight the next, loose coming out of the corner, about spinning out. I think he made that one slip up coming out to that allowed Jake Ennis to get by, and now he's having to deal with the dirty air. And this is his first time in the dirty air for the majority of the race. I mean, he's been out front for the first 10, 11 laps, and Jake Ennis makes a move, goes around him. And, now 4 or 5 laps later in that dirty air, he's lost about over a second, Jake Ennis. Now, Jacob Mayer, Hawthorne, and Haas, all those guys have lost about a second and a half to their top 5. They're back to kind of sorting things out in their own regard. And then Chris and Barker, Colin Grace, both very far off the track after dealing with some issues. But Jake Ennis continuing to lead Alex Penn, not so much falling back fast.
Give credit to the 2 you're seeing here. 7 Hawthorne, we've seen him in strong contention most of the last time out. Very strong at the super speedways. Made it clear he and Christian Leonard have been working together in tandem. The goal was simple, get Leonard to advance after Hawthorne won the big money race. Vice versa when it comes to some of the super speedway finishes. Hawthorne's in prime position. His friend in Leonard, why not try to win out the round? Hawthorne needs to gain some time and fast though in his 18 car.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get caution at this point. Maybe just taking it easy, playing the tire save game. It's a very smart game to play, but you don't want to lose too much time, I'm afraid he has. Hawthorne, though, one of the most winningest drivers. I was talking about this earlier. Jake Ennis and Alex Penn, though, had that battle for lead. I was mentioning those two are some of the most winningest drivers. Between Jake Ennis, Alex Penn, and 7 Hawthorne, they've won about 6 of the last 7 races. I think Leonard's the only exception there. But Ennis and Penn both have 3 wins apiece. Hawthorne has 4 on the season, which is most. But although Ennis and Penn have about 3 or 4 less starts than 7 Hawthorne.
That makes it pretty interesting, to say the very least, on how it's played out in terms of the season's complexion of winners and runners. We've had a lot of first-time winners in first or second starts. For reference, the one driver with that chance here coming in is Maher. The interesting thing about seeing Giuliano back is He was amongst those who didn't make a start in the cutoff race at Dega in the 87 car. And you can argue if he was there, he'd still be in the playoff. Even with missing last round, he'd be in at least the conversation.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd be, in contention to advance to the round of 4, but definitely without doubt would be in the round of 8. He was one of the first guys out, and definitely just kind of slipped up. I don't know if I'm on a schedule. Obviously, you want to put real life first compared to sim racing, but just missed that last round at Talladega, last race at Talladega. Had a top 10 run guarantee. Would have been his second best run after a 12th that Watkins did into some unfortunate accidents, but not really sure what happened there. Obviously, right now he wouldn't be looking too hot, running off, back there in about 10th, 7 seconds off the lead, kind of in a roll of his own. Although he is catching Zayn Zaidi. We talked about it earlier. I don't know if we can get a camera shot on Zayn here. The Matteo Juliano car that was ran in the TKC 500, or it's just Matteo's face.
Yeah, and now, I believe they're talking about face picks. The next car up, the one car, if we can go there, is the one I think you're referring to in terms of Zayn. Well, all I'll just say is there's ways of doing the face cam. We'll touch upon that later on. But the reason we're looking at the leaders again is Hamrick and Penn have fallen off. Leonard has not. He stayed lockstep. Pit window opens to be able to make it towards the end on gas in about 13 laps.
Yeah, some guys didn't seem too concerned on fuel. Like, we'll be good, don't have a caution. But a lot of races earlier, have a battle for the lead, though, heating up. A lot of races went caution-free. So far, so good, so clean. Leonard, though, sitting on the bottom of Jake Ennis, going slide up, not doing him yet. Inches apart, coming off of 2-0. Ennis almost in the wall, Leonard into the door. We'll be side by side, they're going in the 3 for the lead.
Leonard not afraid to use the side draft. Able to get the send back along the edge of the first seam. Trying to avoid the flat underneath said seam. Leonard forces the checkup. New race later for the first time, it's Christian Leonard up to the point. Able to zip by Ennis. Not bad to say the very least in terms of the quick swap. But that type of strategy as the race goes on could be very critical with the track position as the day goes on.
Yeah, looking at the risk versus reward factor, Leonard has nothing to lose. He won last week. He's good to go. He's advanced. He's in. Jake Ennis, on the other hand, everything.
Yeah, right now on the bubble, but with the big points buffer, you can definitely say that makes it a little easier. In fact, you can argue a good run today might nearly clinch it on points at least. You don't want to leave it to points, though. You want to get the win.
They use a very, I don't want to say goofy out, but they use a bit of an old school format here. To see the bumper to bumper going for the lead. They use an old school Winston format from way back in the day where it's not 1 point, it's one car. It's about, on average, depending where they're running, anywhere from 3 to 5 points a car. So difference though from first to second can be 5-10 points depending on bonus. You get bonus for leading lap, I believe, bonus for a wide variety of stuff. I believe it's just leading laps is what you get bonuses for. Essentially,
it's the Latford system. It's technical. Well, it is actually called Latford system, not the Winston Cup system, because it technically, while it's a lot associated with that, it was designed by Bob Latford in 1975, which scored equal points in all races. Remember, the point system before that, for 2 seasons, had essentially a rank of the race, but an point system based on the length of the races, the distance they covered by driver. Meaning, you didn't necessarily have to win the races per se. You just had to run the laps.
Yeah, I've not heard that. That's a very interesting story. Actually, local track around me, the Indianapolis Speedrun, kind of went to something like that, where you got a bonus point per lap completed in their Premier Late model in the Figure 8 class. Because Figure 8 racing is very unique system, very kind of on its own in its own ballpark. to reward you for finishing races, not necessarily winning races. So kind of a definitely unique system that encourages, finishing, and that'd be fun to see how they use that in today's world.
I mean, the reason it's relevant is Benny Parsons. I'm sure you know he was a champion, but that was the year he won the title with 7,173.8 points, because despite one win and a couple top 10s all season, in the longest races, he was more consistent than Cale Yarborough, than Cecil Gordon, than James Hilton. In the races that had the longest distances, he survived to get good finishes, and they didn't get as good finishes in the 500 and 400 milers.
Benny Parsons also a figure 8 champion up in Michigan. So that's a higher up to lead on Flat Rock, I believe. The more you know.
Very much so, more you know. With that being considered, that your top two have now really settled in to run away from Bryce Hamrick, by the way. Super Hamrick going to need a lot of superhero type of speed to be able to try and close this gap up. Right now, he is running up to 2/10 slower a lap the average. He's lost about half a tenth over the past 5.
He's had that superhero speed in the past. No one plays spoiler. Hamrick's a guy to pick. Him and Maher both running 3rd and 4th are some of the drivers tonight not in the playoffs. Not because they got eliminated. They just kind of joined late in the season. Were never a part of it. But since they've been here, they've put together a lot of really solid runs. Hamrick about won over. I don't want to say he dominated, but he was definitely in contention for the entire race. Michelle Maher was quick last week at Kansas, and had a good debut, put together a lot of good laps. I think he might have been on pole. I know he qualified first or second, but should have probably ran away and won that race, and unfortunately did not.
Well, for Hamrick right now, at the very least, that kind of indicates, you see there, nearly 2 seconds of fall off. So we are on the fall off band for your top 3 or 4. Mayer is also in that grouping, Meager should say. Alex Penn is in a bit of a concern window, though. The 30 machine is another 2 to 3/10 a lap slower per lap. He is way past the fall-off band, more than 2.2 seconds of fall from his personal best.
Yeah, I think he was kind of pushing it way too hard, trying to defend Jake Ennis at the start, and I think it's going to hurt him long run. This track is, I don't want to say tricky, but it's definitely difficult to navigate. You're going to be on the edge. Speaking of on the edge, Penn there to see getting a little bit loose coming out of the corner. But you got to take care of your tires here. I mean, it's a track you can go 4 or 5 wide. You can pick and choose the lane and what lane works best for you. And while it might not be the quickest short run, it's going to be quicker long run. I think that's kind of what guys like Leonard and Ennis kind of did. Ennis wasn't pushing it all the way to get by Alex Penn. He wasn't trying to make a situation where it didn't belong. He's kind of waited for Alex Penn to make a mistake and slid right on by.
Pit stop window is underway. Remember that face car we were talking about? Well, it's amongst those in. 7 Hawthorne also with them. The one machine of Zane Dye amongst those also in. By the way, for Zane, it's a driver we've seen sometimes in his 5th start this season. 7 Hawthorne to the box. There goes the 1 in as well.
And there's Stout and 7 Hawthorne. He's not quite having a good run as we've seen a lot of this season, but he's never won a race. Or he's only won a race from not starting on pole. So it has 4 wins and 0 poles. So no problem for him starting in the middle of the pack today. Should be able to find that up front. I'm doing a little bit of an undercut just short of the halfway mark. This might be what he needs to, shoot himself up front.
Colin Grace, by the way, in this time. Matteo Giuliano also amongst those in. Matt Haas in this time amongst the wave of cars. No speeding penalties for anybody so far. Everyone's been handling the pit lane very conservatively. Same for Christian Barker this time by. Christian Barker has not had a good day. He slammed the wall on his own. He's got significant right front damage, and he was running 4 seconds off the pace of the leaders before this pit stop. He was nearly about to be lapped.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see if this cycle of pit stops brings in Leonard and Ennis. To continue to stay out on track. The longer you stay out, it hurts it definitely, because you're going to allow these guys, set down absolute blazing laps. You saw the time comparison earlier about second half to 2.5, maybe even 3 seconds quicker than what to be running on fresh tires. There goes Brandon Devine on in. But the longer you stay out, as I think Jake Ennis said, Jake Ennis going to pit this time, pull the undercut on Christian Leonard. But the longer you stay out, you're able to come in. And while those guys have burnt up their tires, you're able to have fresher tires later in the race and make up more time, I guess. When you need them, these guys are going to be putting 33, 34 laps on their tires. Jake Ennis only about 29 or 30 when it all said and done.
So Alex Panamonsto's also coming out, by the way. 7 Hawthorne jumping ahead of him, running by a 2-lap undercut. So Hawthorne amongst the first of those already take the rubber. Ennis, once those expect to see in front. Trouble for Ennis in the pit box, by the way. Ennis is still yet to get in his stall. He is still yet to get on the jack. He's lost 10 seconds in the pit box.
That's not what he wanted to do. You got to be perfect coming down for green flag pit stop. He had a good enough of a lead. I don't think it was going to be that huge of a problem at first. But back up forward, 3-4 times will definitely hurt you. Finally, about a minute, not even that seems, after entering pit road, finally able to get off. This is going to hurt him big time. Yeah, Matt Haas actually just passed him. Penn just went around him. Jacob Mayer went around him. That Mayer drive on to lead that, but
6 seconds the difference between him and 7 Hawthorne right now. Christian Leonard already coming in. Jake Ennis just clarified what the issue was for the box. He was too far to the left. In our words, he squished his pit crew.
Yeah, you gotta be perfect though when it comes to green flag pit stops, and that's definitely gonna hurt him. As you see Leonard and those guys coming on out, gonna be interesting to see where they line up. Hamrick though and Jacob Mayer, the last 2 drivers on track, finally coming down pit road, get some fresh tires and some fuel, be able to go the distance. They're gonna only have about 28 or so laps on these tires, so about 4 or 5. Trouble, Hamrick though, into the wall, same with Jacob Mayer. These guys coming down pit road, see him backing up and going, back up and going. Hamrick just kind of slid going into the stall, about hit the wall. Got a little topsy-turvy though.
And remember, these pit stalls, the concrete boxes are a big difference in terms of trying to slow down compared to the asphalt lane itself. It's almost catching these drivers off guard that massively, to the point where it's Christian Leonard able to get a massive advantage because of everyone else's misfortunes.
Yeah, definitely over 3-4 second gain just on pit road alone. Well, I wouldn't say gain on pit road, but a gap compared to what he had. Had a tenth or two to Jake Ennis, and a second half here, second half there to the next couple guys, and now he's built up about a 10-second buffer to third and fourth. Alex Penn and Matt Haas. Jake Ennis though has dropped it back huge after pitting in from second.
An absolutely big interval. Ennis, by the way, fastest lap of the racetrack, matching the qualifying pace. Right now, 39.3s. Here's the downside. You mentioned the 11 seconds. That's going to be something he needs to really hope for caution for at this point. Let's put it straightforward. You're not catching 11 laps, let alone for some of these cars. Maybe 6, even on a 4 or 5 lap fresher tires. That is a hard task to do.
Yeah, over the course of a run, it's going to hurt you big time, and the harder and harder to go, the faster you go, the longer it'll hurt you, especially, with 20-plus laps left in this race at Track of Michigan. That's definitely going to hurt you. But not only that, but Ennis has to work his way through traffic coming from Bryce Hamrick now. It's going to go around that 94th thigh, but going to do the undercut crossover to the bottom. So a sauce move there, Jake Ennis trying to make up some lost ground, but he doesn't have room for mistakes. We talked about Cayman on the bubble, had a decent gap, but now looking, I'm losing a ton of spots to the guys below him. Divine, Grace, Matt Haas, and Barker, including those. Haas, though, currently the highest of those, currently in 5th, so not a huge loss, but definitely not what you want to have going into the final race at Martinsville for the round.
He's still in decent position for points, though, believe it or not, because drivers he needs to be. Brandon Devine. Divine's in 9th. Colin Grace is in 10th. Matt Haas. He's actually the only person in front of him out of those drivers, but Haas was 29 points back coming in. Christian Barker. Barker needs a lot to happen, including the lucky dog. He's right now running last. Believe it or not, the 25 outside of maybe to Matt Haas, and even then has a chance to catch up to that, is not in a spot where he'd lose to the bubble.
Not necessarily, but you don't want to lose any points that can help it, obviously. And that guy, what I was mentioning, going to Martinsville with only, 4 or 5 spot bubble or so is a lot worse than, getting second and you're winning and being locked in. A lot of guys talk about, they're scared of Martinsville. They do not want to go in on points. Even Seven Hall, on talking to him last week, had a pretty decent point gap to second through bonuses and all that. But they're not too fond of short track. There's North Wilkesboro, White Smith got a win there. Went to Bristol with Jake Ennis at the pole and won there. But other than that, not a whole lot of short track, I guess, racing in the PKC series. So some of these guys not really too happy for it, especially to go back on North Wilkesboro. I don't want to say it was a slugfest, but that race is all about survival.
By the way, they both passed the 8 of Haas as they zipped on by. The reason you may have not noticed to go by so quickly, Matt Haas stuffed the right front fender into the wall. He's now got damage. I wonder how he got that. That was sarcasm.
I was going to say probably from doing a donut in the tri-oval, and then he got out, ate a hot dog, and someone threw a hammer at him.
Oh, so the Bowman Gray experience.
That's a great way to put it. I think I wish you could have that where, you win a race and you have a low I rating or actually a low safety rating. People start throwing tomatoes at their car.
Okay, so the Talladega experience.
No, that would be beer cans.
I mean, it's the PG version. You can do with tomatoes.
Okay, ask Jeff Gordon about that one.
All right, we're already past halfway, coming to 22 laps to go, by the way. Jake Ennis working with Hamrick, going 5th and 6th on the racetrack. Or Hamrick amongst those not in the championship fight. Ennis wants those trying to get as many points as you can possibly get, as we talked about. He is right now the quickest car on the track. And if they keep tandeming like this, it's almost to what people may have noticed in the NASCAR Cup Series yesterday, where 23-11 at Las Vegas did a very similar thing. Oh, we have trouble back straight away. Matt Haas, contact with the lap car in the background, the 99. We stay green.
Yeah, Christian Barker not having a good run at all. And they're going to come down right in front of Zane Zaidi. Christian Barker will have to come down, unscheduled pit stop for him. This kind of changed things up too, because now he'll be one of the quicker cars on the track, but going to change everything up for a lot. Matt Haas, though, saw a lot of damage, a lot of damage in that Toyota Petronas Mercedes Toyota number 8. Matt Haas, CNC Petronas Mercedes Toyota, hard on the wall. Oh,
He's got
hard on the wall again.
Yeah, he is inside the wall. He's got a broken suspension. Both him and Barker need to take the meatball flags here. And drivers are already talking about it, wondering when's there going to be a yellow. Let's put it this way. He hasn't spun it yet. No yellow coming. So Matt Haas goes in and nearly runs over the cone for good measure.
It came in pretty hot there. I was getting ready to mention about 30, 40 miles an hour. Too fast, able to get it locked down and safe, good to go. 50 mile an hour pit speed, I believe 55 maybe. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but he's not. Okay, I lied. 55 mile an hour pit speed, able to get it locked down though. But I took the cone out. That was a very bold move by that cone to sit there and just take that close action. As Christian Leonard though still continuing to lead, but doesn't quite have the pace that we saw previously.
Yeah, I was about to say he's running 40.7, so a second of fall off. He is on one of the older tire sets in the field. Here's the reason that's a bit relevant. The driver who hit the next time by, Meager, we talked about drivers winning in their debuts. He didn't do it last time, but the 9, how about in your second start, Brayton? He is coming and fast in the next spot on that pylon if you look at the interval shrink.
Yeah, I've been kind of watching him the past couple of laps. He did a fantastic job getting around Alex Pin and then Seven Halton, just kind of picking them off like candies in a candy shop. He's slowly but surely closing that gap to Leonard. less than 20 laps to go. Not a whole lot of time to get there, and you start doing about over a 10th lap, and you just can't quite have that much of a difference right now. If Leonard slips up, maybe hits the wall. That's one thing about a track. That's just one slip up, one mistake. You hit the wall barely, like we saw Alex Pin, and you're putting more strain on the right front than you would have, trying to keep it going. And that tire wear magnitudes, the damage magnitudes, and just their overall lap time slowed down by a huge margin compared to everyone else. So one mistake could be the difference here.
17 to go, by the way. The interval for the lead, about 2.7 seconds. And several battle packs have essentially formed up past that top three. In fact, for the top three on back. 10 is where he's now reeled in Hawthorne. That's within about second, although that's where we mentioned the 9 just pull away from. Hamrick and Ennis are both closing into this pack by 2/10 a lap as well. There's a chance it becomes a 4-car battle with fresher tires in the latter 2 cars.
Yeah, these guys are all trying to figure it out, make up time where they can. Jake Ennis, though, see on your screen there, that's Bryce Hamrick in front of him. These two have kind of pulled away from each other, saw them tandem drafting, working together real well, trying to make up as much time as possible. They kind of said, hey, or Hamrick said, hey, I want a little quicker, bye, have a good time, went ahead and went on a ride. And there's Zane Zaidi in the one machine battling hard, though, with Brand Divine. These two going at it, 7-8. Zane not in the playoffs, like we mentioned. Not really a regular, ran 4 or 5 races. Actually has a pole at IMS earlier in the season. Led to lead any lap show. Has an average start, I think it's 3-4, first, second, like an 8th, and somewhere around the top 10. These two go side by side. Oh, hard contact. Zane Zaidi about got sent to the inside wall there and beyond, able to get it recouped, re-going. Might send a little payback. If you're looking for that caution, we might get it.
Now there's that car you were talking about, by the way. Whose face is that on the car?
I believe it's Matteo Juliano. That scheme was originally run in the TKC 500. And I want to say it was either Leonard or Barker, Christian Leonard or Christian Barker was one of the ones that ran it. Zaino sending it on the bottom. Look how much time he made up on Brandon Devine. I thought it was about to just half-track him, send him to the wall in the hot dog stand, Jeff Maconi at IRSS style. But he hit the brakes that second. I was puckered there. I thought we were about to get a huge caution. Able to keep it going, but I believe that's Matteo Juliano. It might not be Juliano, but it is a Matteo. My memory serves me, I believe, pretty correctly on that, who was race control. Whichever was race control during the TKC 500 a couple weeks ago. One in the wall!
And, well, perfect timing. Oh, by the way, he did, for those curious, I think you are right about which Matteo, because you know what Matteo Juliano did about a month ago when racing in TKC at one of the short tracks? Put up a live stream as his perspective from the cockpit saying, live with series director Matteo Giuliano.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably him, because I remember that scheme being ran in TKC 500. Juliano, though, trouble coming off of turn 2. You saw him hit the wall last corner. Really struggling, though. We talked about damage kind of magnifying, magnituding, and multiplying. That's a lot of inboards, and that's alliteration, we call it. My 5th grade English teacher would be so proud right now. But Juliano really struggling with his tires, a little bit loose. He goes in tight and loose off the corner, and he's going to have a fun 13 laps to go here.
Oh, 12 actually. At the next time by the leaders come by at the stripe. By the way, as we talked about that, Christian Leonard, well, his follow-up 110. Oh, caution! Caution flag is out. We have had a wreck. Trying to figure out what happened. It's down the backstretch. It's Zane on his own in the 1 car.
Do you think Matteo had to throw that caution for his own face?
I'm not sure, as I think we're taking a look here.
Just got loose. He got tight. We talked about guys getting loose, tight. Gets tight coming through too. Hard on the wall. This is a little shady, I'm not going to lie. Had it straight there. Looked like easy to save. Loses it again. Then hard left. Drifting down the track. Kind of gets it going. And then there's the final spin. Spun across an entire mile or so of the backstretch here. I think a little shy of a mile. This whole track is about 2 miles. I think the backstretch is around 3/4 to a mile. Spent that whole time there saving it.
I am going to ask you straightforward. How many times do you think that should have been savable?
I'm gonna go back one more time. I'm gonna watch the cockpit. While he's sideways, drifting the wheel cockeyed to the opposite direction, kind of like a dirt track, you can hear him gassing it up. So right there during that first save, I don't know if we can get a cockpit of this. Able to listen. We're just gonna listen. We're gonna hear him hit the throttle when he should be off.
Yeah, that might be looked at.
Take a look at what he did.
And you know the funniest thing? He just asked for a wave around, and no surprise, no is the answer.
That's pretty bold to ask for a waiver for their own caution. Zane was on the lead lap though before that happened. I think he had to pit, which was one of the first guys to pit.
So pit stop party that, oh, that's the 9 running over the box again.
Not a good series to stop. Something this series does is they do give a waiver rounds to everyone that didn't cause a caution. So if they're 3-4 laps down, they should be able to get going. So that will put Barker and Matt Haas back on the lead lap. Zane's the being on driver. Not on Leonard though. Gonna win the battle, win the race, win the war off pit road though. Jake Ennis finally able to close up, get back to second right behind him. Alex Penn third, Jacob Mayer fourth, and Bryce Hammer gonna round out your top 5.
So a huge break for Jake Ennis. He goes from 6th all the way up to 2nd in that pit stop sequence. Damage this time for Giuliano and Grace being fixed. Matt Haas, Amatsu's also to get repairs done. As well, the one machine already falling laps down. Christian Barker with the wave. Believe would be Amatsu's a lap down. That's now going to put him back from what originally was 2 down. That being said here, it's similar to what we've seen last week, a late race caution setting up another wild finish.
Speaking of wild finishes, Zane, who didn't get his lap back, said, bye, have a good time, I'm out of here, and has gone ahead and disconnected from the session.
I will say is a few people were wondering, how are we still green on the radio? I guess he delivered the caution. It wasn't the caution people wanted when they actually got the gift, but we'll now get a restart with 10 laps. Make it actually 8 laps to go.
This is going to change everything. Ennis able to get back up front, make up that, 7-8 second deficit he had. Leonard, Alex Penn back up front after leading early in this race. Jacob Mayer, who had a ton of, mid-pace or mid-stint momentum, not going to quite get to that same spot that we were, we were 10-15 laps. Caution extended, though. Not sure the cause for that, but that's going to make we're going green with about only 7 laps to go now.
One car had not reached the pack yet, Matt Haas. That's why they extended it just in case. I think he would have reached it, but it would have been borderline.
Don't want to reach it at speed either. Try to check up and pull Kyle Busch at Daytona, because we are not at Daytona. Somebody would definitely block that, and before you know it, there goes the whole field going bye-bye. Actually, due shortness, I think we are going to go green this time. Maybe I can start on the pace.
Yeah, and I believe now they have turned the lights back off with Matt Haas reaching it.
Someone's having fun with that switch in the pace car. I thought everyone.
So the Touring Kart Championship and its National Series ready to get back racing. 8 to go. You have Leonard on the outside. Ennis on the outside, I should rather say. Inside line is Leonard. Green, green, green. Back to racing with 8 laps to go.
They're having a perfect restart so far, the only restart of the race. So getting down the apron, left side's below the white line. Ennis tire tracks and go through 1 and 2. They're not quite at speed to be able to go through your full throttle. The bottom going to be the better lane. Alex can take advantage of that side by side for second. Here comes Seven Hawthorne though.
Big run this time from the outside. A push from Hawthorne. Ennis able to clear on by. Does he take a peek? He thought about it. Not able to get alongside. Yes, they go to the first scene. Hawthorne runs high. Alex Penn goes yellow line in a bubble. Leonard pushed up, 3 wide for the lead. One car hits the wall with Hawthorne. Race lead, Alex Penn. Ennis going for the side, dropped high side.
Here comes Hawthorne on the bottom, on the apron, 3 wide now. Hawthorne on the bottom in a must-win position. He's going to try and send it, not really in a must-win, but Bob is on the bottom, going to get tied up, and then Ennis almost touching the left rear, spinning him, trying to get in line behind him. Alex Penn though to the lead, selfish through, and Mayer and Hawthorne are going at it now.
What a battle started to form up at the closing stages. Ennis now going for a set. He goes down to the yellow line. Alex Penn tries to go higher up on the exit. Penn, top 3 last time out, holding top groove for momentum. It is forced to reset. 6 laps to go, down to 12 miles from Michigan.
Everyone trying to figure out, they got fresh rubber, feels so good, so great, might as well use it. The Hawthorne trying to make a move, side drafting middle corner on Ennis, trying to get a run out of the corner if we can help it. Hawthorne has ran outside the top 5 almost the entire race, and now looking strong for the podium, going for the win though. Going to clear Ennis barely by centimeters, going into 3, but here comes Ennis on the bottom.
Hawthorne still not able to get the run he needs to be able to set things up. Side draft aggressive once again for Ennis. Penn starting to block the lanes, down to 5 to go. There's the slide. Hawthorne with contact to the fender. Ennis, no damage, resets it. As here comes Leonard back on the run.
That's going to pull them 3 wide again for a second, though 2 wide side by side for third. Last podium spot. Here comes Jacob Mayer on the bottom, taking advantage of these 2 battling. Sorry for the jump scare, but Leonard going to fall back to 5th once again, trying to recover, recoup as much as he can after that bobble from the lead. Coming to just a handful of laps to go forward this time by Alex Penn continues to lead. Leonard though, Mayer, Ennis, Hawthorne, and Alex Penn give us a heck of a battle, but Bryce Hammer 2 running just outside the top 5 in the lead pack.
Down to 4 laps to go. Looking on board. This is from Ennis. Hawthorne trying to get a push from him. Ennis following the tire tracks. Now goes middle. Now below the first seam go both of them. Penn was the only one above that first seam. He nearly hits the wall trying to get the run. Ennis looks for the peak. Nowhere to take the run.
Ennis to the back bumper, gave him a little push. Hawthorne a little loosey-goosey, a little bit trucy, a little too much pushy in the corner. Ennis to the back bumper of Hawthorne, gonna move him up track to the bottom. Ennis now taking advantage of that. Penn continues to pull away, side by side once again for second. Leonard slides in that 4th spot over Jacob Mayer. Still side by side though, less than 2 laps to go.
Ready to go with that time at the stripe. Coming to 2.5 to go out of the corner. Ennis not able to clear, and the more they fight, the more Penn runs away. Now Hawthorne working with a teammate in Leonard. Penn is setting his fastest laps of the race right now, by the way. Started off the run in 39.2s. He is running up to a 1/10 a second quicker as they fight more so for second.
I never said I was good on math. That's my apologies, but Penn, though, taking advantage of at least 3-4 guys battling at it. Penn doesn't really need to win to advance to the playoffs. Came in from 3rd, 38 above on the line, but it would be nice to win and not to worry about points. Jake Ennis is fighting for every point he can get. Same with 7 and Hawthorne. They would get a nice barrier, but Leonard, though, already won last week. Penn, though, trying to join him in that victory lane. It's about 1.5 laps to go.
Bit of a scout to the wall for Leonard, no damage, but that does cost him momentum. As they come to the white flag this time by, it is Penn who is in the driver's seat. The battle for second, becoming aggressive, the 30 machine coming down to the final 2 miles. White flag, waits at the stand. Final time around for the TKC National Series presented by Maconi Set up shop from the Irish Hills of Michigan.
Alex Penn running the high side, going down the middle, trying to build as much of a gap as he can. Doesn't want to allow a slide drop from Simon Hawthorne running in second or Ennis in third if he can help it. Ennis though just needs to keep it straight, keep it going, not do anything too risk it for the biscuit. Gonna go side by side for second though, risk everything.
Big send, Ennis wants points. He looks hard to the inside. Hawthorne with a massive squeeze. Hawthorne doesn't want him going up. Holds on to it. They keep rubbing. Checker flag. Alex Penn. He's going to Homestead. Ennis and Hawthorne exchange paint at the stripe.
They didn't just exchange paint, they exchanged phone numbers or more. They were side by side in each other's car basically for that entire run through 4 to the tri-oval.
You talk about aggressiveness, trying to get every single spot. Just had that in the battle for second. And Alex Penn, your winner from Dover to start off the postseason. He's going to have a chance to close out the postseason with a battle for the championship. In the words of Alex Penn, his unbiased opinion, what a great race. That caution puts him in position for the win.
I'd be saying that too if I was able to win after being so many seconds down.
Christian Leonard, who looked to be in the driver's seat, he falls out of the top 3.
Basically had that thing won. Penn was running 4th. Literally over almost a straightaway back from Christian Leonard at the time of that caution.
Let's take a break. When we come back, post-race coverage, you're watching Maconi Entertainment for coverage of TKC and the playoffs from MIS. Welcome back to post-race coverage here on Maconi Entertainment as TKC comes to a close from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results if we can here, as 12 drivers made the start today. Grand total of 10 did finish on the lead lap from Michigan.
Yeah, that caution saved a lot of those guys. I mean, some guys, as we get the results there, Alex Penn brings home one of the guys that was saved over a straightaway back almost from Chris Leonard at that time of caution, Jake Ennis, Seven Hawthorne rounding out your podium. 2 very nice point stays for those drivers going into Martinsville. Leonard should have won this race, comes home 4th outside the podium, last week's winner. And then Jacob Mayer in 5th, Bryce Hamrick 6th, Brand Devine 7th, Matt Haas 8th, Colin Grace 9th, Mateo Juliano, last car in the lead lap in 10th. Christian Barker brings it home in 11th, and then Zane Zaidi, everyone's favorite caution causer, going to be rounding out the field in 12th on the car to DNF.
So talked about your unofficial race results here today. In the end, though, it's Penn who takes the checker flag here. Let's take the words from Alex Penn to heart. Alex Penn, you're going to Homestead. How does it feel?
A little bit weird. I don't really think I should be hearing that news quite yet. I was kind of expecting to hear that I was going to Homestead about a week from now.
Well, that being said, what was the reaction from you when you seen the caution come out after the had a one-man bandstand where the whole bandstand fell apart down the back straightaway?
I wasn't quite sure what to think because I wasn't catching the car in front. The car behind was also kind of saying the same. So I was kind of indifferent to it because I think it would have. I was kind of thinking it was going to end up like last week where we all just kind of finished in the same order, anyways.
That being said, how difficult was that battle for the race win to get the pass, but also try to run away as everyone else tried to fight around with you and with each other?
I got really lucky. Basically, the biggest thing was I completely threw myself off. I thought we had like 5 laps to go when we were coming to the white flag, so I was still saving my tires, thinking we were gonna have a much longer run. And then by the time we were coming to the white flag, I'm like, I should probably start hitting the gas pedal a little bit harder. But it was fun nonetheless.
That being said, anyone you want to thank for the run today?
Yeah, for sure. You for putting on the broadcast. The TKC guys for putting on the league every week. Skip Arbor Racing School on the car. They taught me how to race, and Cornerstone Motorsports for teaching me this Xfinity.
Well, congratulations on the run, Alex.
Thank you.
Alex Penn, a race winner here today. Second spot. This should be an interesting conversation because Him and Seven Hawthorne are separated from different rooms. Brayton Laster, he's with him.
Jake Ennis, you had ran an excellent race, led actually a decent amount of laps coming in at 12. He finished second, I'd outspin. Going to talk us through that side-by-side finish along with Hawthorne, where I think you guys exchanged everything about phone numbers and what needed to be outspin.
Well, that restart was quite wild. I mean, that was I've never been in a restart that crazy before, but I'm glad we got a second place finish out of that. Looks like I think Christian Leonard got a little loose, exiting 4. All three of us, me, Seven, and Alex sent it deep, and Alex prevailed. But I personally had fun. I was trying to race everyone clean. I know we were doing a lot of close quarters racing, but I was not too happy about Seven almost dumping me on the front stretch. So I gave him a little shove entering turn 3, showing my displeasurement, and then he got a little salty over the voice chat, which I understand. I mean, it was it was unacceptable on both of our parts, but that turns 3 and 4 in the final lap, we both fought for the same real estate, and we were together from turn 3 all the way to the start finish line. But like I said, I had fun. I know he's not happy, which I understand, but I've told people this, after that whole thing with Christian Leonard last week, he dumped me for no reason at Kansas. I wasn't too happy about it, and he put the blame on me. So I wasn't having it anymore. So I was just not caring. If someone did that to me, I was just going to do the same thing back. And I just want to make my message known to everybody.
I like it as a solid short track mentality. Speaking of short tracks, we're going to one next week, and you've been almost perfect. You got 2 front row starts and 2 wins at Dover and Bristol, the 2 previous short tracks, as well as you're a real life racer at Riverhead Raceway in I believe the mini stock series. Talk us through how excited you are to go back to that short track.
Well, it's funny you say that. I actually just set the deal today to race mini stocks again this year, which is going to be fun. But yeah, I mean, I love short tracks. I love tracks where you actually have to use the brake. Those are fun to use because it's a lot of playing at your feet, and I love playing with my feet driving. So I'm excited for Martinsville. I know that's really where tempers flare the most, so I'm not excited for that part. But as long as I just keep a constant pace and do what I've been doing so far, I think I'll be okay.
All right, and anybody you'd like to thank on your second place run here tonight?
I like to thank Red Mist Podcast. I know one of the owners is watching tonight. Thank you, Nathan. I like to thank everyone for racing clean. There was only one caution. I know we were racing hard, but we were racing clean. Nobody crashed nobody crashed. So that's good. But I'd like to thank everyone for watching, TKC for running this whole show. Thank you for the whole season. And of course, you guys putting a good show in the booth. I can't wait to rewatch this later. And just thank you all.
Well, congratulations on your second place run. That's Jake Ennis leading 12 laps in the route to that run. Speaking of, he talked about Nathan watching the Red Mist podcast. I believe that was Nathan Lavadur he was talking about. Just won a Daytona 500 on that racing platform using lessons learned from TKC. So congratulations to Nathan there on that one. Also an avid competitor in the TKC series from time to time.
Yes, indeed. But third spot tonight, Seven Hawthorne. Seven, that's a good point blank. Your perspective, what happened in the final laps there with Jake?
Just if he was too busy racing me that he took away both of our chances of winning. I mean, I felt like I got cleared enough for him to kind of just settle in line because it's Michigan. We would have drafted and blue past the 30 car really without any issues, but he was too busy racing me. But all in all, we finished third, so we'll take these points, move on to Martinsville, and after Martinsville, we'll go fight for a championship. I know I'm confident enough that we'll make it out of Martinsville alive and go for the championship at Homestead.
So with that being said here with this type of a race tonight, what was going through the mind as you and Christian Leonard showed good speed, but in turn, we've seen a lot of that speed have to be managed for the right times, or right places for the right times?
Yeah, just a lot of missed opportunities, really. I mean, I feel like me and the 19 should have had more wins in the season, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what we should have had. It just only matters what we came out with. So, you know, it's a tough pill to swallow for sure, especially for the 19 car. You all but had that one. For me, I'm kind of happy to come out of here with third because my car just didn't fire off the way I needed it to. It was really struggling with front end turn, and we was riding third there about the caution, and we could have had a shot at the win, but slid a little too far in the pit box, had to back it up. But yeah, solid day for me, and yeah, we'll just take these points and try to survive Martinsville.
So with that being said, well, there were interesting comments from second. There's the driver who in fifth who apparently has words. Your approach for Martinsville after making lots of friends, quote unquote?
Yeah, my approach is gonna be any other week. We'll just go out there and race our race, and we just know to race them now the way how they race us. So, you know, if things come to things, you know, sitting behind the 25 or the 9 car, you know, then we probably won't be so nice. So we'll just race them how we race, how they race us, and just go into Martinsville with the same objective and try to win that one.
Any shout-outs you like to give after this one?
Yeah, my family, my dad watching this. It was a bit chaotic today. To all my friends and my sponsors and my teammate Maconi for putting on these events. And yeah, happy to be here.
Well, we're glad you're happy to be here. Thank you very much, Seven.
Thank you.
Seven and Hawthorne no longer happy to be here. In terms of the post-race coverage, I'd like to thank him, Jake Ennis, and Alex Penn for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here at Maconi Entertainment. I'll say in terms of the conversation for fifth, apparently it involves the contact. We've seen that scene, the slide for the 9 down the back straightaway. Lots of bumpers, possibly for the paperclip next week.
Beef. One word, beef.
So with beef potentially being on the menu and being probably what's for dinner for many drivers next week, how do you approach the paperclip to close out the round of 8?
No, it's definitely on the dinner menu for me tonight, getting ready to go cook some fantastic hamburgers. But I think paperclip racing in Martinsville, there's nothing tighter than it. You gotta run the bottom, you'll be fast, make some moves on the outside, and be able to avoid crashes. You know, that's kind of the name of the game, the survival of the fittest.
So once again, that coverage starts, remember, 8-10 for gridding process. TKC playoffs, the cutoff race determine who's in the championship 4 in Miami. March 11th, 8-10, the green flag. Once again, thank you for tuning in, as well as our race sponsor, Maconi Setup Shop, and our broadcast partner, the Touring Kart Championship. Coming the action tonight was myself, Justin Prince, alongside Braden Laster, alongside Jorge Canales producing. Thanks to our viewers for watching tonight's racing action, and we hope you stay tuned to our social media pages for our next race. That being SLF Action with C Fixed on iRacing social media platforms. Follow the social media platforms to learn more. Thanks to the entire staff for their work in bringing this racing to you. This is a production of Maconi Entertainment. We'll see you next time from the Paperclip.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. On iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.